This is Andrew Aloha live out of Flagstaff, Arizona, with Spiritual Productions. I wanted to take the time, first of all, to let you know that I just finished binging on a TV series called Maggie on Hulu. Wow, well that was eye-opening. It really touched on a lot of topics that psychics have to go through, and I was really impressed. It was really funny. Like, for example, the parents of psychics, what do they have to go through? How do they manage to bring up their kids if their kids are psychic? I mean, it just covered so much stuff. And the lady Maggie lost her psychic powers at towards the end of the series, and I have a feeling I think she probably got it back at the very end. So I'm assuming they're going to come out with a second season. But it was if you get a chance to go watch that show Maggie on Hulu, and especially if you're psychic or you have a kid that's psychic, it's probably a good movie or show for you to watch. So I would highly recommend it. But that's besides the point. So anyhow, what I do want to talk to you about is my latest book. I don't know if you can see this or not, but Andrew Aloha's Paranormal Experiences. I wanted to take some time out to talk to you about that. First of all, the front cover itself is activated, so it promotes healing energies to whoever's around the book. So and not only that, but let me see some of the see if I can open this up. Some of the pictures inside. There's a whole lot of pictures in here. So and a lot of them are activated as well. So just with that alone, with just the activations that are in this book, I think that it's I didn't really have much of a choice because Amazon, I published it through Amazon, and they require that you charge a certain price. Now I can't remember, but I'm gonna be interviewed pretty soon, within the next week, I think, maybe 2 weeks. There's a woman that's gonna be interviewing. I should have grabbed that before I took the time to do this. But anyhow, the book itself is filled with all kinds of stories, personal stories that I wouldn't recommend that you do them at home. They could be very dangerous, but that's besides the point. But anyhow, there's all kinds of stories about UFOs, aliens, ghosts. Let me see if I can remember all this stuff. Kids that are psychic, me having a telepathic communication with them, all kinds of stuff in here that has to do with paranormal activities or events that have taken place in my life. I thought about it, and all of a sudden I just started thinking about, well, man, I experienced this, I experienced that. And I thought, man, I can write a book. So I did. I started writing down all the different experiences that I've had over the years concerning paranormal events, and here it is. It's in here. But and what's even more interesting is that there's still a whole bunch of them that I haven't even included in here. But that's besides the point. So now, one of the things that happens is the book opens up with a fade in. I don't remember. I fell off I don't know if I tripped or fell off a car and fell on my head, and I must have had amnesia or something. I don't know what, but I don't remember anything from before the age of 5 years old. And then all of a sudden, it's like a movie. It fades in, and I'm standing there holding a jousting stick, and this guy is teaching us how to do jousting at this daycare center in Gridley, California. And that's my first memory of life in this body, right? So it's like that. So I talk about all these different events that are going through. The one about Maitreya Buddha appearing to me and these two other bankers in Victorville, California. He literally just appeared before us. He looked like a really tall Spaniard with golden hair, brilliant blue eyes. I don't believe he had a shirt on. And then he says that Christ will appear within 10 years and then disappears. And like you know, I have no idea what the other two women experienced because I never talked to them about it. But I started laughing. I look up and he's gone. He literally disappears. Later on, I found out that it was Maitreya Buddha. I was meditating with a group in Dallas, Texas, or in the Dallas, Texas area, and if I come to find out, it was Maitreya Buddha. But anyhow, there's all kinds of other experiences. Now, the very significant thing about this book is that whoops, sorry about that. Is that towards the end, I talk about programs. I start doing these programs that I learned, and they started helping me manifest stuff in my life. One program, I knew I was going to be, like 2 years, I believe 2 years ago, I knew I was going to get some funding coming through. So I wanted to get the right car, which is where I'm at right now. If you look at this car, it's a Nissan Altima. And I wanted to get the perfect car. So I programmed that. I kept doing all kinds of programs. And sure enough, I had a vision of it in my mind. And then I went online and I seen the exact same vision online that I seen in my mind a few weeks before that. And so I did. I called the guy up and I said, hey, you're not going to believe this, but I'm supposed to buy your car. So he goes, well, if you can get yourself over here, then we'll get it to you. So I did. I went to Phoenix. I took a one-way bus ticket there, and he picked me up. And I had problems getting the funding for it. I had the money in my account, but the bank wouldn't give it to me, right? So finally, I got I ended up having to stay the night there, and then the next day. I did one more program. I go, man, I'm going to do this one more program, see, and hopefully I won't have to stay another night. So I did, and sure enough, some supervisor from Bank of America finally released the rest of the funds to me, and I paid this guy off, and I came back, drove my car back to Flagstaff from there. So anyhow, and then another program that I did was with another female. She got somebody hacked into her Instagram and kicked her out, right? So I said, well, why don't we talk over on Zoom, and I'll do some programming for you. And I did a program, and she was like, huh? She was like, I think she was kind of astonished that, and it seemed like kind of trivial of what I was doing. And sure enough, about a week later, she somehow ended up talking to the guy. I did the program for her to get her account back, but I didn't say how, right? So she did. She talked to the guy, and he gave her account back, and she got it, and it was back in her hands again. So, and then another program that I did last year, around July. I hadn't heard about this until March, April, May of last year. Britney Spears was in that conservatorship, and there was all that drama going on with her father, blah blah blah. And finally, I think it was in June, the end of June, 1st of July, I did a program. I did some more programs for her to get out of the conservatorship. And then I believe November 12th of last year, sure enough, they removed it, and in fact, she just got married about a week or two ago. Just recently, she got married. There was some guy she was hanging out with, and they were in love, blah blah blah. And so they finally, and she couldn't get married before that because of the conservatorship, right? So it was like that. So anyhow, interesting stuff. So the moral of the story is that now the paranormal events aren't just haphazardly happening; they're happening on purpose. They're consciously happening now because I'm programming them to happen. So anyhow, it's like that. I've come out with a new program, a course called the Citizen Journey, which is a 10-week course to teach people the foundation of how to work with the programs and so forth. And then I've come out with another program called the Ascension Intuition Sessions, which is a 2-hour program whereby you can, well, I'll do it for you right there on the spot. We'll go through some exercises to get you on board in the same direction, on the same page as me, and then I'll go in and we'll do a bunch of clearings and blockage removes and even manifestations, depending on how many sessions you do with me. We'll manifest something that you want or need in your life, and then go from there. So it's like that. So anyhow, you can get a hold of me on spiritualimageproductions.com. Spiritualimageproductions.com is my website. If you want to ask any questions, all my contact info is there if you want, and we can just go from there. So thanks for your time. Have a God Goddess weekend. Be the love that you are, always have been, and always will be. Aloha.